You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio. Thanks for tuning in and watching the broadcast, as we are presently broadcasting in 8 different locations, and soon it'll be 9. I can tell you that much. Welcome. Hello, Tamara. How you doing?
Well, you can see my face this week. It's clearing up my little issue that I had, but I'm feeling a little better and been busy as usual. Like just go all the time, working hard.
Go.
Yeah.
That's
What about
right.
you?
Yes. Yeah, last week, you were a little under the table, but you still, got involved in the broadcast. We did the show, and
the show must go on. You just couldn't see my face last week, and that was for your protection, not mine.
That's it's good to see.
It's still not healed up. Like it's still all like an open raw sore, but
Yeah.
it was a blister, like a shingle, like it's shingles, and it went all across here. So I had to take some medication, and it's slowly starting to clear up. But it's now been 10 days, I think, a week. And I just ran myself down too much, and I've got an autoimmune deficiency already. So my body just said, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
And I actually took 3 days off of work last week because I was sick.
Wow, that's a rarity, eh? 3 days off in a row.
No, I didn't. Monday was my scheduled day off because we did the 3-day rodeo, right? I worked through, I went 3 days for the rodeo. So I took Monday off.
Long hours.
Yeah, we worked hard. It was great. It was a good event. It was good. And then I took Tuesday, I went into the shop with this great big huge on my face, and Barb looked at me and she goes, "No, you go to the doctor, you go to the acute center, and you go home and rest." She goes, "No." Because I went to work. I brought a mask. I was raring and ready to go. And she said, "No, you go and you take care of yourself." So I went to the acute center, got some meds, came home because my GP's away. And Wednesday I worked. Thursday I worked, but I was dragging. And Friday I couldn't get out of bed. So Friday I tapped. I took Friday and said, I just can't. And I haven't done that for a really long time where I can't, right? Because I'm not a quitter. That's one thing, I'm not a quitter, right?
Yeah, it obviously helped. We can see the difference.
Well, I took 3 days, and I just for 2 days, I didn't get out of bed. So it was good to take, that time for myself. And thanks, Justin. I appreciate that. But but I'm feeling a lot better this week, and I've worked all week so far. And I've got a big project in my carport to deal with when I'm done. So
yeah. Just so everybody knows, Justin, as Tamara says, thank you. Justin says, glad you're doing better. So
this is, we're used to it because we've been dealing with medical patients with chronic illness for so many years that none of us are shocked when we're down. Like, oh, you have days where you I'm tapping. I can't get out of bed either. Like, how many people and that's what I said to my girlfriend that I work with today. I said, I'm so used to being around people with chronic illness because she's got type 1 diabetes and she's having a really hard struggle with it. It's been 4 years. She's 30 years old and she's struggling. And I understand because, most of us have either cancer, MS, some sort of chronic pain, chronic illness, injury. And that's the people that we've been helping for the last 20 years, right?
Oh,
so,
yes.
And that's where, why I understand. So that's why we understand. And it takes compassion and some understanding. And, you rest and you get up and you brush yourself off and you keep on going.
Keep on going. You keep doing what we can do, right?
Right? Yeah.
And talking about helping people, our guests tonight, they've been helping people.
Are my counterparts. They are the board of directors that are Canadian Therapeutic Cannabis Partners Society, which is the board. I'm a director on that board too. In fact, we're one of the only registered non-for-profit cannabis related in Canada. Besides Maritime United for Medical Marijuana, I think we were the second ones that actually got our non-for-profit. And that you can thank Debbie for that. Debbie Middleton, Bring them in.
Bring them into the
Yes.
All right, we'll bring them in. We'd like to welcome Ross and Deb Middleton of Bma Hydroponics.
Yay!
Welcome to the Pace
Hey,
Radio
how's
Show,
it
guys. How
going?
you doing?
Good to see you guys.
Yes.
I was just
actually
telling our viewers that we are the board of directors for Cannabis Therapeutic Society, Partners
Yes,
Society,
right?
and
Yes.
that we've been running solidly for almost a decade,
Mhm.
right?
It's true.
Yeah. That's
So,
right.
and these fine people have a clinic that helped people get their medical licensing. So when I was helping people and telling them, I would send them to my people. So these are my people.
That's right. We are.
Yes.
It's good to
Yes,
see you
That's
guys.
right.
Yeah. Nice to see you guys too. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
it's good. The last time we had you on the broadcast, we couldn't see each other.
That's right.
true,
Yeah. So now everybody can see us, right?
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
boy.
Yeah.
That's a whole
Yes.
different world, isn't it? It's one thing to be
It really
heard,
is.
it's another thing to be seen. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared. I didn't shave. You know.
Well, hey,
It's a come as you are show. This is a come as you are
Well,
show.
that's good.
Because some days
Yeah,
I come rolling in and I'm covered in flour from head to toe and my hair's still up and I'm like running in the door. I was like, oh, you just got off work again? Yep.
Oh God, that's great.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah, she's still got flour all over her, but tonight she's looking like she's wasn't not covered in it anyways tonight. Not wearing her work.
No, I am wearing my work shirt, but I didn't. Well, I did. I made cookies today. Actually, I made 2 double batches of chocolate chip cookies, and yeah, I made sausage rolls yesterday. But yeah, we do a variety. But like I said, nobody's shocked that I'm working in a bakery.
You are a woman after my heart. Let me just tell you.
I know,
Oh,
yeah,
just
right.
Chocolate chip
Working right
cookie
there,
right
yeah.
there. Okay,
go.
And I can't wait. Like
Exactly.
I said before we started, like I cannot wait till the time comes that the government says, okay, you guys can have your infused foods. And even if I have, and I hate to say this because you know how I am about, and I've actually kind of changed my tune on that because safe access, right? That's what we always wanted was safe access. And we know that patients have been left behind in some aspects. But I was in a legal store yesterday looking at tinctures and looking at capsules and looking at suppositories. So they can't give any medical advice. That's one thing they can't do because they're liable. They're not allowed to give any advice, but the product is still there. So if you get the advice from Google or from us or from somewhere else, and the milligrams might not be effective, that's got to change. We know that, but they can still go and try it. And somebody that's never used or consumed cannabis, sometimes those low doses are all they need to start out with, right? So they're still able to get access. And that's pretty much what we wanted, right?
Access is absolutely key, and access to medical cannabis may be changing soon.
Yes.
I had mentioned to Al that there is a case going on right now that I personally nicknamed the dispensary trial. I was supposed to have a decision for us tonight, but I don't. Guess what?
Yeah.
The judge got COVID.
No, oh no.
The decision. So now we're looking at, I believe it's October 3rd for the decision to be released. I still got the publication ban, so I can't go into details. I can't say it's about dispensaries. I can't say that if the ruling is favorable, in a similar fashion to Phelan and Manson, and who was the one for the extract trial?
Well, no, it was Kurt. That was
I can't remember the judge. Anyway, medical cannabis access, the big hole in the system is dispensaries. So this is about medical dispensaries. Again, no details, but if there is a favorable decision, I believe that Health Canada will be given probably 6 months to come up with a plan to put in place a chain of federally regulated medical cannabis dispensaries across the country. That's all I can say. I can't say any more right now. October 3rd, hopefully we get that. And I'm sure that once the decision is handed down, the publication ban will be lifted. And then we can go into the details about who, what, when, where, how, why, all those things, right? But right now, just can't go there. I can't tell you, I am involved as an affiant. which means
So we're looking for October the 4th then.
October the 4th, in that neighborhood. Yeah, 3rd or 4th.
In that neighborhood, yeah, exactly. Okay, so first week of October.
Well, we can all
hopefully,
send good vibes then
Yes.
to whoever is fighting this great battle. And kudos to them, and thanks to you, Ross, for all your expertise that you put forth, because we know that you are an expert. Like many of us have been doing this for decades, right? You longer than most. So,
Well, guess
that's
what? One of the things that I submitted in my affidavit was the consultation document that we submitted to Health Canada, which in it called for medical dispensaries and outlined exactly what we wanted to see in those medical dispensaries. Remember that?
right.
So
Yep, I
that
sure
is,
do. Yep.
the judge and all the lawyers have all gone through that. Okay, they know that it was submitted to Health Canada, and all of this stuff. So it carries some weight, and I hope we succeed. I really do. And I probably shouldn't have mentioned that, but I can't help it. I mean, Jesus Christ, we're part of it. You are too.
Yes.
Tamara. So are you, Al. I mean, all of us as advocates are all involved.
Oh yeah.
Every step that's come along this long, hard journey ever since Parker back in 2000 and the first MMAR, that's saying something. And in 2002,
there's so
Deb and I
many
opened
people.
up a hydroponic store.
Yeah. And Al, you and I were sitting next to each other in the Supreme Court in Ottawa when Kirk Tussaud was arguing for Owen Smith to allow medical people to have something other than dried flower, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
right. Exactly.
We've all been there all along the way, so it's really great.
Right.
What
Oh,
how
I'd like to
exciting.
take a moment and mention Grandma Dee too, because she just passed away. I think we all knew her.
Yes.
And she was a great advocate too. I first met her in Ottawa when we went for our first protest back. Year was that now? 2012, something like that. I can't even remember. It's been 2011. It's been a long time. Like it's been like forever ago.
Yeah, it would have been well before then.
Was it?
Yeah.
But
2009?
medical
Yeah, 2009, I think, or 2008, around there. Almost around the first TY, wasn't it?
Well,
It was the when we
TY
went to the first
Expo was
TY.
in 2010. First TY Expo was in 2010.
Okay, so it was 2010 then, because I went to Ottawa in February for the rally, right? And then I was at TY in May, I think it was they had that year, May or June.
Yeah,
it was
May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time I went to, because that's when I got my license. That was when I got my license in February of, it was 2012. Because I got 2011. Because I got my license in 2011.
Okay. Because were you there? Okay, because the first year was when Michelle Rainey was there.
Right, at
too.
2010. Yeah. 2010.
No. Because I had Taven in 2009. Maybe it was 2010.
Well, I know the first expo was in 2010.
Yeah.
It was 2010 because I was there for 2010.
Yep.
Because it was right after I had Taven.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, like it's been so many. It's 2022 now, so we're thinking like, when? Like,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, in July. That's right.
Yeah.
There
you go.
That's great. Yeah. And
I went to that in a wheelchair.
know that you were
Was
there.
that-
Yes. Yes, you did. I remember that. That's right.
I was working at that year. I worked at the End Prohibition booth with Dana Larson, and then the following expo, I worked at the Normal Women's Alliance booth. So I worked at both of those events. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I worked behind the scenes in the in the administration behind in 2010. So I was behind.
Yeah.
Yes. She was part of the staff.
Yeah, there was up to 25 volunteers, just on the expo end of things.
And it was a big deal. A lot of
That
people
were required, to run it.
It was a great event. It's the first big event for cannabis that I had ever been to.
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
Right?
Big
Even
time.
like the first rally I went to in Ottawa, like that was the first time I'd ever been to Ottawa. It was a huge thing to go to Ottawa. to, you know, protest on Parliament Hill. It was like, I have to go. So I did. I saved my pennies, and people donated for my flights, and Dana paid for some of my hotel room or something. I can't remember. No, I don't even remember. Oh, yes, I do. I stayed with Russell Barth. It was, yeah.
Yes.
Russell, if you're listening.
Yeah. But, you
Him and
know,
Christina, they were great. But the second that I went and stayed at the hotel where everybody else was staying and hung out with Deb Steltz-Giffen, and that's me and Debbie Steltz-Giffen first met too, right?
yeah.
And I actually stayed with Cheryl Rose in her room, is where they stuffed me on a couch. Hey, I slept in windowsills. The TY that we worked at Normal Women's Alliance, I slept in a windowsill in the hotel room at the Continental. I did.
That was the one that was right attached to the event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anybody caught smoking in there got a $250 cleaning charge.
Yeah. Oh, nobody smoked in there. Nobody did that, but we were lucky enough that
there were some rooms that got smoky.
Yes, there were. If it wasn't there, it was out on the sidewalk.
We had a slider window in our room, remember? And you could open up the slider window in the room where all of us were staying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Well, I know the first year Kim and Jeff were staying in there, and I was with Caleb Hubble, and we got abandoned. Like, we got left by our host behind. She decided she was leaving, and she wasn't waiting for us, so she left us there.
So she left.
Not kidding you. So we were like stranded. Me and Caleb were down there going, okay, all our stuff is at the hotel where we don't in Yorkton. We weren't even staying in Toronto, and we were stuck. So we ended up in Jeff and Kim's room, and we were smoking that room out.
That's too bad. You said, Ross, you attended that expo in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I did.
We said, you're getting up and you're walking around now, so obviously things have changed.
They have. I went through a period there where I went through a series of illnesses. I was left with peripheral neuropathy, which makes me feel like, my lower extremities are on fire all the time, still do to this day. But it was just a litany of conditions that kind of flared up. I lost my gallbladder. I lost my appendix. What else? I had the
you had an abscess
in my liver.
Yeah.
That was right about the time of the TY, and the abscess was so bad on my liver that I wasn't even able to think or talk or hardly move or anything. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And and thank God all those things have got better. And if I can put a plug in for cannabis, I am what I am today, I think, because of cannabis. The fire in my lower extremities, guess what puts it out? Cannabis infused topical cream. 5 minutes. Okay. I used to sit there and writhe in pain until 2 a.m. and fall asleep out of exhaustion. Right. Now I put the cream on my feet. 5 minutes, I got relief. It only lasts for an hour or so, but I fall asleep, and then I'm asleep, and then I stay asleep, and I sleep good. My health has improved. Everything is better. And it's cliche to say it's all about cannabis, but damn it is. Yeah.
Well, at one point he was on 16 different medications. They're one of the strongest fentanyl patches you can be on.
This is the doctor's approach, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they can do. And I mean, we're talking everything from OxyContin to the fentanyl patches, everything, and all of it even combined together. And it took you about a year and a half to get off everything, and just use cannabis and use more cannabis than
I found a pain specialist from Kingston General Hospital who didn't believe in any of that shit. Okay. No, we're going to go with a natural approach to my condition. He gave me injections in my calves of magnesium.
Are injections natural?
Yes, natural. And it would give me relief for like 3-4 days. 3 or 4 days of freedom from being on fire was like a godsend, you know. So in that process too, he helped me get off of all the stupid drugs, which he didn't believe in any of that shit. And he told me, yeah, this is what they do. He is an actual real pain specialist,
and an anesthesiologist at Kingston General Hospital. Yeah.
So, I mean, he understood. If anyone understands opiates and all those dumb drugs like gabapentin and Neurontin and all these other silly things that you don't even know what they do, you know, and he understood that it was just creating zombies out of people, and that it wasn't a good quality of life, and that there were other ways to cope, and there are other ways to cope, and it's a lot of it up here in the head, and you do, and I still hurt the same way I always did, but I perceive it differently now, because I have been able to change the way I think about it, the way I see it, the way I cope with it. So I'm now working 3 days a week, you know, at the store, on my feet a lot.
Yeah.
I come, 2 things happen: the cream goes on and a joint gets lit. Right.
That's right.
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 And it's all good. And I'm just so pleased that we've won everything we've won. That we have the freedom now to be able to do this and worry about it. When we opened up our hydroponic store 20 years ago, people would come in and they'd say, I'm growing tomatoes. And we'd say to them, well, do your tomatoes require a 12 and 12 photo period? Yeah. Well, yes, my tomatoes do. Well, for your tomatoes, you're going to need, you know, like this is what it was in 2002, 20 years later. Okay, look where we are now.
I know, and things have come so far with the medical end of it, because when I had my last hip replacement done at the hospital, they said, because I said, I really don't want to take the medications that you're going to give for pain. And they said, okay, well, go ahead and bring in your cream. You know, you'll have to talk to the nurse on staff, but bring in your capsules if you want to. You just have to give them to them to administer them, but go ahead. Bring them in, and you can actually use your own medication instead of having to use hydromorphine.
Do they want to hold on to that?
Yeah, they do. They want to administer it, but the cream, no. But the capsules, yes, they did. Right. But
you know what? I mean, like that's amazing.
Bag, they never knew. So
right. You got some hard candy in a bag in your purse, that's another business. Right?
Right.
Yeah, but it just shows the mindset, though, of how it's changed from what it used to be, right?
That was all she had. I was surgery, and all she had was topical cream and capsules of oil.
Yeah, I believe that. That's great.
Yeah, I remember that.
Pretty strong, but
yeah, exactly though, right? But you know the strength, you know the dose. You've worked with it for decades. Like who but you knows better what your body needs, right?
That's right. That's right.
I mean, by doing that, you're educating the people who are all around you. They're seeing all those people, the nurses, or even other patients, who you might see in the hall eventually, or in a room place where you pick up a popsicle.
We have group homes here where some of the clients are disabled. They have to stay they need full-time care. So we have assisted living houses here. And I have a friend that works at one, and she has to take the client out. He's not allowed to smoke inside the house, but she rolls him out onto the patio in his wheelchair. She lights his joint for him. And they have the option of opting out if they choose not to do that. None of them do, because they're care aides and they want to help their client, right? If they need anything done, that's been totally it's totally changed.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. And thank goodness.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, it makes sense too, rather than pharmaceutical drugs, especially as we age, because you don't have the fear of falling like you do from using, pharmaceuticals, because some people are disoriented a lot and things. And especially if you've kind of been using most of your life, like some of us, you're fairly used to everything.
Deb, you would help us out at the national home shows, the garden shows, the women shows, and stuff with Treating Yourself magazine when we were doing those events.
Yep.
And I know not a lot of young people go to those shows, but still, as you know, the people who came to our booth were people who were 60, 65, 70 years of age. They weren't the 20-year-olds.
No. No.
And guess what? That's us now.
Yeah, same here.
So
70-year-olds
so
now.
66 and turning 64 next month.
Yeah.
My mom brought her old friends over here to buy some topicals and stuff for me when she had her high school reunion here a couple years ago in the summertime, and they are all in their 70s, and they were all interested in the education. They all bought a bit of stuff off me, and then when they sourced it right directly from. Because I'm not a middleman, and I retired. I'm not doing much of anything anymore, but except educating people. So if you want education, you can get here I am, right?
Yeah.
I know it's when we did the topical cream and entered Lift, the first year before legalization, when one of the first Lift expos, and we actually won. A couple of people, friends of mine, Linda Houghton was one, and another friend of ours, and we won 3rd place across Canada for our topicals at that point. And we've shared the recipe with anybody who wants to know, instead of just trying to hold on to it, because I believe people should be able to make their own if they have the wherewithal and are growing their own cannabis and how to do it.
Would this be the same recipe, same stuff that Ross was just talking about earlier on how it put out the fire in his legs?
Yes, and I'll just mention at this point, we have a YouTube channel. Bma Hydroponics has a YouTube channel. Go to the YouTube, put Bma Hydroponics in the search bar. Our YouTube channel will come up, and there's a 1.5 hour seminar on how to make that cream. There on YouTube. Right
from taking and making the distilled oil all the way through to infusing it, where you can get the raw ingredients to do it. And that one just uses some simple EOs. With Ross, I use up to 14 EOs that are nerve sedatives, nerve tonics, things like that to specifically work for him. But it's the basic recipe.
So yes, we give it away. We share the knowledge.
Excellent.
We share the relief.
Share it.
Yes. Freely. Go there, learn, make it, enjoy it. Feel better, healthier. Right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, I encourage people. Like, I've got other people that are going and buying it and stuff. I said, I'll teach you how to make it yourself at home. Because people ask me, well, if I bring you the product, will you make it for me? And I'm dumb. Like, I didn't think about this. I go, well, I don't have a commercial kitchen, but I do have access to a commercial kitchen. So, but I said, why don't you just come and I'll teach you how to do it yourself.
There you go. That's it. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Yeah. That's one thing we've done a lot.
And I've actually had a couple of people come to my house when I've been making cream to show them, and they're there, writing everything down and seeing how I do it and stuff. But
you were doing seminars at the store too as well, weren't you?
That's right. Yes, we did.
We did the seminar at the store. That's what's on YouTube, was actually a tape of the seminar that we did at the store. We've had edible seminars as well, where we've taught people how to properly dose and everything else, and how to make their own edibles and do that. We had an organic growing one. There's a few other ones that.
Oh, and then COVID hit, and it was like,
and then it was like, eh.
Yeah, we had all these other seminars all scheduled out and stuff.
But the nice thing about COVID, to be fair, if there's anything nice about COVID, is it made people watch YouTube. So even though you couldn't interact with them at your store, you could still get, reach out to people, because that's what kind of kept us going. Like the shows, right? People interacting with you. Why we went to video, because people wanted to see your face, right? And I was like, I don't like video. No, I'm not really sure I want to do video.
12,000 views on our YouTube channel.
I know that doesn't sound like a lot. But...
Well, 12,000 by YouTube standards isn't huge, but 12,000 views is a lot of views.
It's and it's maybe But you can always think that sometimes there's more than one person who's watching during that view.
There
This
you go.
is
That's
true,
a good
yeah.
way to think
That's
about
a good
it.
way. Let's say average 3. That makes it.
Yeah. You know, all of a sudden your numbers triple, right?
30,000. Yeah.
That's right. But I
40,000. We'll go with 40,000.
yeah. We
40,000.
have lots of ones on. I show people how to take cuttings,
Yeah.
how to grow on ebb and flow, you know, because I set up my own ebb and flow grows and have done my own. And so women can do their own grows all by themselves.
She's got her own.
Things.
Her
Yeah,
ebb and flow episode is the number. It's got almost 700 views. It's the #1 video.
Is
So-
it? There you go.
Yeah,
There you go. Good
so,
stuff.
you know, but it's important that women know that they can do it on their own too. It's not hard, right?
I do them.
Yeah.
She doesn't. Guess what? We do them together. The last one
There you
is
go.
cocoa. We put cocoa fiber into mesh pots and then did flood and drain. We got 2.8 pounds from a 4 foot by 4 foot square.
With
Dry.
9 plants.
2.8 pounds
Oh,
from a 4 foot by 4 foot square.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that cocoa was really good to grow in. I've heard that a few times. That it's
But
like,
people
I mean, I've done it with lava rock too, right? Like and left them in a rock wool in a basket and then filled it with lava rock, right? With a pump in it. I've done it that way before too, right?
But cocoa eliminates all that. You don't you don't need any of that. You just and it just works so great. It just was so.
So what do you do? Is put cocoa in a bucket?
No, cocoa in a basket pot.
In a basket pot, like you would
Yeah.
put like pellets in.
Yeah.
And just do that, and it takes no time at all. And the roots have just grown all the way out. You know,
Now,
it's great.
After we harvested,
there is
the pots and the roots. You just grab one end of the roots, and it was like a blanket, and you pulled the whole thing out.
Yeah.
Oh wow, really?
When you got roots
That's
like that,
crazy.
that equals 2.8 pounds
Yeah.
in a 4 foot.
Yeah.
So
All right. One question. pH is dealt with a little bit differently in cocoa versus soil, right?
Well, except that we treated it like a water culture, the same as we would with rock wool or anything else. So the pH always, I found the sweet spot to be about 5.8. So that's, and we still use that. We didn't do the 6.2 like you would in a soilless mix or anything, but
Yeah, it worked great. I mean, you just can't argue with results. You know, go there, take a peek.
No, they can't.
I mean, big.
You only got 2.8 pounds? What do you mean?
Green and it's sparkly.
Okay, it's time for us to take a break. All right. Okay. When we return, Tamara and I will continue our discussion with our guests, Deb and Ross Middleton. This is the Pace Radio Show. We are live here on the Pace Radio Network.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Pace Radio Network, by patients, for patients, and for those who want to know.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Bma Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponic superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville, and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. Bma Hydroponics. It's worth the drive. The only way to go.
Hi folks, Scott from stfattiesday.com here, and we're absolutely stoked to tell you about our brand new program called Pass the Peace Pipe and our partnership with Legacy 420 out of Tyndonega. We are absolutely proud to be partners with these people. They are an amazing group that have helped so many people with their amazing cannabis medicinal products. And we are working together to gather funds to build the first ever Indigenous specific opioid addiction center here in the Bay of Quinte area on Tyndonega land. So we need your help. We need you to repost this video and go to our GoFundMe campaign, because on this October 17th, St. Fatty's Day, we are going to be starting the campaign where we pass the peace pipe from one side of the country to another to unite our country, to gather awareness, but most importantly funds to build opioid addiction centers across the nation, one build at a time.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, welcome back. Tonight on the program, we're joined by our guests, Deb and Ross Middleton, the owners of Bma Hydroponics, and one of our sponsors here at the Pace Radio Show and Network, as you were just saw in those commercials.
We appreciate that too, very much.
What's that?
I said we appreciate that very much to our sponsor.
That's right, exactly.
Yes.
Actually, Deb and Ross, Bma Hydroponics, have been a supporter and sponsor at Pace since day one.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah,
and proud supporters. We love what you do, and we know it's valued, and we really want to support that. And we're getting towards the end of the fight. I guess I don't know if the fight ever ends, though. I guess it just keeps going on and on, doesn't it?
It keeps going on. We need to improve things.
But we'll keep clawing and we'll keep going. And even though Deb and I are retiring from the hydroponics business, it doesn't mean we're going to, sit back and keep our mouths shut, right?
Right.
Oh, and we plan on trying to move out somewhere where there are some other people who are activists with Mum and play things like that too. So
shout out to Debbie Stoltz-Giffen, who still goes through our CTCP Society clinic, her and her husband Cliff. Yeah. And they're still chugging right along, and I know they're enjoying life, and that's pretty much what Deb and I are going to do. We're going to go out, go to Nova Scotia. Yeah. We're going to head down towards the South Shore way. But we're in the same neighborhood, and we're going to be doing kind of the same things that Debbie and Cliff are doing, and enjoying life, appreciating what we got left,
educating where we can,
and educating
every time we can too.
Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. You've done this. I think you said earlier, 24 years running this business.
We've 20 years in the hydroponic business, which really is where the advocacy started, and that 20 years means 2002, and what was going on in 2002? The MMA
was getting going,
right. It was just starting up. One of our first customers was a one-legged man named Terry. I'm not even sure where he is or if he's even still alive now, but he had one of the very first MMAR certificates ever issued. He was the only person that we ever knew. He was a good friend, good customer of ours. He used to deliberately drive around in his car with a tray on the passenger seat with his bag of weed, his rolling papers, and some weed kind of sitting on there. He'd get pulled over by the cops, and he would pull out his permit and say, "You can't touch me." And they'd go and they'd spend an hour making phone calls and calling on the radio to make sure that this thing was a real thing. because nobody knew even anything about this stuff, right? And then they get
Yeah.
the answer back: give the man his weed back.
Yeah. Now don't drive around with it open on your seat.
No,
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Yes,
But,
now.
yeah.
Even if you're medical now, you
I
would
walked.
Yeah.
I walked into the Taber police station with an ounce of pot because when they busted me for trafficking, I was picking up an ounce of weed, and I went to the post office and got my weed. But when they got my license and realized that they couldn't charge me with possession and they had to give me back my weed, I got the trafficking charge for 4 grams, but I still walked to that police station with an ounce of pot in my hand.
Yeah.
You got your medicine back, though. That's the important thing.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Exactly.
Nothing happened to the sender. Nothing ever happened to the sender.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So, can I just mention one thing? In case you haven't heard, Bma Hydroponics is for sale.
Oh, really? Yes. Yeah. Well, you did mention retirement. That gives us a bit of an idea. But yes, we've been talking about a lot of different things, but we haven't talked about that yet. So up for sale. Wow. So, and you mentioned retirement. You're going to the East Coast. So I guess what all is for sale, because obviously, like, there's a business. Like, is there a building? Do you have a parking lot or whatever? What all is what's for sale?
Right on. So we got a beautiful 1,600 square foot commercial unit in part of a very busy plaza. It's on a really busy road. It's a boulevard with a center turn, left lane. It's all just been done. There's a roundabout just right down the end of the road there. So it's a big, huge, high traffic area. The plaza is always busy. There's ample parking. And so we remodeled the unit in 2018 because there was something going on that was in a major way with cannabis at that point, or something called legalization or something like that. So anyway, we completely gutted and remodeled the store and said, bring it on. It's legal now. It's not just medical. It's recreational now. Bring it on. And they did. And when we had our grand opening on, what was it, October 18th? It was
October 18th,
2018. And we were swamped. We were overwhelmed by the response. We had the radio station there. We had everything going. We had hundreds of people come in. It was just like a huge party. It was so awesome. And to be a part of everything, going from talking about tomatoes to inviting in all these people to celebrate the final step, or almost the final. We'll never get to the final step, but this big step of legalization. And ever since then, it's been pretty gangbusters, and we've done a really good job, and we've made it through COVID. We went through COVID and never shut down, not for 5 minutes.
Yeah, because of our medical clinic having
Right.
to supply people
Because
that need it.
because of the clinic, the CTCP clinic that helped people gain access to medical cannabis.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that about 20% plus of our customers are growing medical cannabis.
Right.
So we are an essential service. We were deemed to be so. We were inspected twice by the municipality, inspected by the Ministry of Labor. Who else?
The health department.
And the health department. So we had all these people come in, acknowledge that we were doing everything right, all the right steps. We had the shields up and the masks on and all of the things. It was a nightmare, I got to tell you. It was hard. It was really hard. To do this every day, to strap on that thing on your face, to go through this, and after a while, business kind of started to drop off a bit, which naturally it would, because a lot of people are staying home and not wanting to go out and not wanting to expose themselves to crowds and things like that. So, and it's kind of started to come back a bit now, but I don't think it's ever going to get back to where it was before legalization or around legalization and the first couple of years.
Well, cannabis has been a big part of the business.
It has. Well, yeah.
It has.
And I know a guy who still won't go into a hydroponic store because he's concerned about who's watching. That's how that was back in those.
That's just going too far now. Come on.
No, I know it's true. We used to get asked.
But now that it's legalized, and like your location you're in, I would say, a mix of industrial and residential, because
Yes.
all around you, it's just exploding with housing.
Can I tell you a true story?
Well, tell more about the business.
Okay, I am. Well, first, I just want to talk about my undercover drug enforcement customer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, a guy comes
They
up.
grow too.
Yeah, so a guy comes up and he's putting his products up on the shelf, and I can see, it looks like he's going to be growing his 4 plants, right? I'm thinking. So before I cash people through, I always say, "Are you medical?" Because if you're medical, you get a 10% discount, right?
Yeah.
So I said to him, "Are you medical?" He said, "Oh, I wish." And I'm like, "Oh, I can't leave that alone. What do you mean you wish?" He says, "I got job problems." And I said, "What do you mean job problems?" He pulls out his wallet and shows me his badge. He says, "Undercover drug enforcement." So, 10 years ago, I would shit my pants. But I'm going like, "Oh, cool." He flips it back, puts it in his pocket, and we start to chat, right? So I said to him, what's the deal with cannabis nowadays? He goes, he says, if we found a bag of pot stacked on top of some meth and some fentanyl, maybe we'd throw it into the charges. He says, other than that, we don't give a shit. He said, in fact, it's funny you asked me about being medical. He said, one of the guys at the station got his medical permit to grow cannabis, and the supervisor, who's like 2 years away from retirement, is a real dick about cannabis, and he rode that guy's ass like crazy. He said, so now we're all waiting till this guy retires so we can all go out and get our medical permits, and then we can all start growing all the weed we want. This is the undercover drug enforcement guy. Okay, so
right,
just,
they're people too, man.
The guy
They
who
have
was
PTSD, like,
unless it's somebody took it out of their pocket.
right? But again, like they I mean, I'm not a cop lover by any stretch, but the PTSD, right? Like if cannabis helps them get through sleeping at night rather than picking up a bottle, I'd far rather have a cop smoking cannabis than knowing that he goes home and gets drunk every night.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely it. In fact, that's why they want to get their medical permits. They're going to cite PTSD as a factor, and the PTSD is real. It is. Yeah. They see they're the first ones on multi-fatality car crashes, for example.
Right.
You could go to
drug overdoses and domestic violence.
Domestic dispute where a wife's been beat to a pulp, or there's a guy who shot somebody. They see shit, right? And they all use to treat their PTSD.
Yeah.
And
I think they should very well have a right to it. Any first responder, right? They're first responders. I think first responders, we should take care of them first and foremost, because they're there to take care of us, right? Absolutely. And I think if cannabis is something that they require for, to help them, rather than, like I said, them picking up a bottle or a prescription for.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, and that's what they want. They don't want to drink. They don't want to take drugs. They want to deal with these issues in the most harm-reduced way they can, right? And that's cannabis.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yes.
Now I want to get back. I want to get back to your business. You said that the business is for sale.
Yes.
Oh, okay, hang on. Business is for sale. Now, is that just your business?
It's in Belleville, Ontario, right? Like the people should know the location.
Again, it's on a very busy boulevard. It's 1,600 square feet, just been remodeled.
Yeah, it's a commercial
There
unit.
we go.
Yeah, and we're selling there's the actual screenshot from the website, or the actual website, showing the contact information for the agent who's handling the sale. In that, there's two options. So you can buy the unit by itself, which is just a little over $300,000, or you can buy the business by itself, which is only $90,000, which is such a great deal. We have literally got very close to $90,000 in stock. Just so you're just paying for products. You're getting the shelving, you're getting all the stuff, you're getting all the POS system.
You're getting all the access to all the suppliers. Because when you buy the business, you get that. It's not as if you have to restart everything.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
it's
and
turnkey.
you're starting debt-free. There will be no debt owed. As a matter of fact, if somebody actually purchases the corporation, there will be approximately about $150,000 in share equity to someone who can actually draw from that tax-free as a salary while they're getting themselves going for that in the business, so that they don't have to worry about trying to set up a payroll, do salary that way for themselves and things to start with. So they're going to start out with equity in it as well, but with debt-free, and you just go from there and sell the stock.
Yeah, and be ahead of the game with the equity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's the business and that's the unit. So separately, now let's talk about them together.
Yeah,
so together, you can buy them both together for $419,000. I wrestled with the agent. I wanted to make it $420. Right? I just thought $420 would be the best number to use. He said no, $419 sounds better. So we're going $419.
Yeah,
make an offer.
Yeah,
you know,
like
like
$399 sounds better than $400,000, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So to get a turnkey business already profitable, ready to go, and your own real estate investment, and your own business, and all the stock, and all the shells, and get all of that for $420,000. I'm just going to go ahead and use $420.
Oh, it's ready to go.
You know,
Key right at the door.
But with an established clientele too.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Regular clientele.
Yeah.
And no competition. We are the largest in Southeast Belgium.
Is there even another hydroponic store in Belleville? I'm not aware of one. Like I know Trenton and stuff have got one, but
No, they closed. Apparently they closed.
They closed. The one on the reserve closed. So we are the only hydroponics store other than Peterborough or Kingston.
Yeah, and we helped Kingston open up when they first opened up. Yeah. We helped them. Yeah. They were actually Bma Hydroponics at one point. Yeah. So we're friends with them, but so we still send people back and forth. Mm-hmm. You know, if we don't have some and we know Kingston has it, we'll send them up to Kingston and they'll send people down to us. So we're friendly, but you know, we're still the biggest. I mean, they do well in Kingston, but honestly, we kick ass. We really do. So,
but we're known for our customer service and being. Somebody has an issue, they're not sure what's going on, bring a leaf in a bag or a picture, and we'll tell you if you've got, you know, what kind of insect damage you've got, or, you know, nutrient deficiencies, anything like that. And we always tell people, you don't have to buy something to come in and ask questions, right? That it's good. Come in and ask questions.
You talked about customer service and all that, and I can, the number of times, especially like when I started to grow with the living organics and talking with the Rev and all that, and coming to you, because back then there wasn't these living soils that were already made. We had to make it ourselves. And it was,
that's right.
And the research
in the bag.
Find the products and on and on and on it went. But you know, credit to you, you found it all, I'll tell you.
Yeah, we tried, and a lot of times we were not able to get some of the things that they could get in the United States.
Right.
Just we're in Canada, so trying to find some of the substitutions for things that they could readily get was fun.
Yeah, there was the one product. It was it was full of crap. Like it was like, I mean, literally like bat shit and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was something for bloom. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't available here in Canada.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We would hunt high and low trying to find a replacement for it.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, even now, the regulations change all the time with Health Canada, or as I fondly call them, Hell Canada, when it comes to some of this stuff. That guano now has to be a mineralized product, and it has to be a minimum of 6,000 years old and fossilized before they'll allow it to be imported into the country. So anything, because of the pressure on the bats, and also some of the fungus and other detriments that have happened to our bat populations. They weren't sure if some of the microbes coming in from other countries were causing it, because all of the high phosphorus come from fruit-eating bats. So that was always coming from the Philippines or South America or places like that, and they just weren't sure where they were coming from. Not to mention the people that were actually, and a lot of times they were very poor people that would be going into these caves without proper protections and things, and gathering this, and what they were being exposed to was not good either.
Right.
So
you'll know everybody tonight, Gail. The product that I was mentioning was Fox. It was a Fox Farm product.
Yes. There's hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, there were some Fox Farm soils and things, American Pride, and some of the marine cuisines and things like that we just could not.
There's just one thing in there that's banned in Canada. You can't get. There's not order.
Yeah. And trying to find land was really fun too. We ended up with Sulpo-Mag, right? But yes.
I imagine you think they have to be careful too, because who knows where, viruses, disease, like you said, microbes. You don't want to, bring an invasive something into our country that might cause issues, right?
It could decimate our own bat population and kill all of our bats. Right?
Well, and all of the microbiological life, like you're talking about, in the funguses too, like the trichodermas and things like that. Like they're really careful about what's allowed into the country,
as they should be. As they should be.
Yeah, it's just sometimes. It's hard for some people to understand. Well, I can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. Anything goes on Amazon, right?
You might be. It's just being you, but not a business. We can't do that.
We can't import in bulk as a commercial.
Then you know what? Then Amazon's liable if something bad happens, right? You bring it in and something bad happens, and you're liable, like whether you want to be or not, right?
Exactly.
Like you don't want to. That's, I think, being careful is probably the best thing. You know what I mean?
It's the environment, and it's all about the environment's not just plants, it's animals, it's everything, right? So we have to protect our native species. We can't allow invading foreigners. I'm talking about pests and things like that come in and start to affect our native species.
That's right. Exactly.
It's like these hornets, like mad hornets and whatever else they've got.
Murder hornets.
Even
murder hornets,
plants,
right? Like
purple loosestrife plants. And,
right. Those are all over here too, right?
Same thing. Plants, microwave, and
I know, but there's worse ones than purple loosestrife. There's the phragmite grass that you see growing all along the 401. And places where it's got the big feathery plume on the top of it. Yeah. It's actually worse than loosestrife because it grows with rhizomes underground, and it grows so tightly together that even snakes and turtles and frogs can't penetrate it to get into the wetland.
And it chokes
out everything.
Chokes out bulrushes and makes it so that aquatic animals can't live in it because it's too thick.
Oh, that's not good. Like I know up in this area we had problems with the bulrushes that were floating like little islands that would break off from the main thing, and like icebergs, right?
That's actually
and they would float down and catch in the dams.
Yeah.
But that's actually how they propagate. That's how bulrushes propagate. Pieces break off, land on another part of the bank, and reestablish there. So that's part of their life cycle. That's how they do it.
So that's. If this is binding, this sounds like it's binding them together, which could become a problem.
It's creating an inhabitable zone, so that if one of those islands broke off and landed in this grass, it couldn't take, right?
Yeah.
So blocking it out, so it can't spread, and then it gets in amongst the bulrushes and chokes them out.
Yeah.
So now they die out, and they replace them, right? So this is what happens when invasive species come in and they're unchecked, because quite often the normal things that keep them in check where they came from aren't here.
Yeah.
So there's nothing stopping. And they've evolved under a situation where they're trying to cope with this thing that doesn't exist anymore. So, but they don't know that. They just keep reproducing on a prolific scale like they did back home because that's how they evolved, right? But there's nothing
trying to survive
here. So it's crazy.
Yeah. But you see them all along the 401. So when they go to seed, the trucks, any passing vehicle, you know, causes the seeds to spread
down
and
the road,
continue
down
on.
the road.
And so it just keeps spreading it. But
all right. Well, just so you know, it's time for us to go for another commercial break. But before I do that, just so everybody knows, Bma Hydroponics is for sale. Well-established business, ready to go. Just all you need is the keys. Walk in, you know, put your first floor in the till, and you're good to go, right?
Turn on the lights and bring in the dough.
Yeah, exactly. All right, after that commercial break, we'll go. When we return, we'll continue our conversation with our sponsors, Ross and Deb Middleton of Bma Hydroponics.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At Bma Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. Bma Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At Bma Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. Bma Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
Let's share Pace everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Pace Radio is the people advocating cannabis education radio network.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for tuning into the broadcast and the show. We are joined by our guests, Deb and Ross Middleton, the owners of Bma Hydroponics, and they're also sponsors here on the network.
Sorry, I just went and ran down and checked, and I got a bunch of eggs again. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So like checking the frog tank and getting tadpoles in the water from the dart frogs, the Costa Rican dart frogs that we have at work. So getting little baby frogs all the time.
Tadpoles, they're called tadpoles. And
well,
yes, we get a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, we've had about 5 of them morph into little baby frogs so far. So
I call Deb a tad parent.
Tad, I've looked in that thing so many times, and I think I've only seen them once.
Oh, now they're out all the time. They're really used to being there now, and they don't care who comes through the door anymore. They're out all the time. Yeah.
It was if they were just so small. And they were
They are. You can tell when you're going to get another tadpole, though. There's like one female and 4 males. And the males all start pawing at the female like this, right? And you go, oh God, here comes another tadpole.
The last time I was there, there was a lot of activity around it because I didn't go over and take a look at it, but there was a lot of activity around it. Normally, it's just, where are you?
That's right,
But so those in there, they're just your pets for the store?
Yeah. Well, when COVID hit and we had to have shields up and all this, we thought, it'd be really nice to have an ecosystem with these Costa Rican frogs in it instead of another shield right there to provide some interest. Yeah. So they've actually taken the place of a shield. And then when we have people come in that have kids and things like that, they always like to climb up on the step stool and look at the frogs and see the tadpoles and things too. So it's just something of interest from them, but it's a completely enclosed ecosystem where orchids are blooming, there's air plants, there's all kinds of things in there.
Like
with
a jungle in there.
Yeah, it is. It's like a little rainforest type thing.
Oh, that's great. And what do you have to feed them, or what do they eat? Like, what do you feed them?
I feed them. I get from a lady. She brings me in a live culture of their wingless fruit flies. So I feed them live flies about 3 times a week. They get that with a little bit of vitamin A dusted in calcium or whatever, and the frogs eat that. And so they're perfectly happy eating these fruit flies.
You mean the flies are being killed while they're alive?
Yes, they eat them alive. And you know what?
We have
one by one.
Ross won't touch feeding them at all. Don't kid yourself. He won't do that at all. And they have little bean weevils that I give them. Yeah, Ross. That I give them as treats every once in a while. They can't have too many of those. We have springtails. There's arthropods in there. So. And everything feeds everything else in there, so it just takes care of itself.
It's its own environment, its own little world.
So you don't have to clean it out. Like you don't have to clean it out once a week, or
no, not at all.
All those plants are all entangled down there. There's
I don't know how you could clean that out.
No, then it's not like I was like just kind of curious because I mean I don't know. Like I have to clean my fish tank, so I was just like I said like.
No, and it's a 20-gallon aquarium, but it's layered. It has different layers of moss and everything, and there's magnolia leaves in there. Things just disintegrate and rot and go back to create the soil base. So there's, like I said, orchids grow in there. There's all kinds of sphagnum moss. We get little mushrooms, wood mushrooms grow up in there, like all kinds of things. It's really cool.
That's cool. Where did you get this? Like, did you just start it yourself and then get the frogs?
There was a company called Mini Monster Farms that was near us, Tweed, Ontario, and they were very big in making mealworm frass, insect frass, things like that. They had
it's dead bug bodies, by the way.
All kinds of the frogs, and there are different kinds too. We have the green and black. There are the ones called bumblebees, and they're yellow and black, and then there's blue and black and a red and black one too. And they don't like to live together. They kind of stick to their own kind like they do in the rainforest, but But yeah, and so we had them make us a terrarium, and it had to cycle for a while to get all the plants, everything going together to keep the humidity levels under control. So they cycled it for us, and Vanessa was great. That's the girl who, she's actually a vet technician, and she's the one who raises all of the frogs and all of the foods for them and everything else, and comes and visits us every 2 weeks and brings us fresh flies that we feed them and things. And yeah.
That is so neat.
Now
It's different.
Are you leaving them with the store, or are you taking them with you?
No, they're not going to come with us.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to think about in Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Well, if I have to, I'll have to make me another tank. But it's hard to get fruit flies out there, right?
Now you mentioned that the terrarium grows mushrooms in there. Now our watchers who pay real close attention to the commercials would see that you have you help people grow mushrooms. You got a mushroom grow kit there.
We do, yes.
Yeah.
But we are a grow shop, and it's just another thing that grows. It's becoming more popular. And guess what? Here's something that'll sound familiar to you. Health Canada is handing out Section 56 exemptions to people who want to use mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms, medicinally. And you know what that is the first step of, right?
That's right.
Right? Yeah. So legalization, I'm thinking, is in the cards, coming. I don't know how long it'll take. Hopefully not as long as it took for cannabis. But, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And we're helping people who use psilocybin mushrooms medicinally grow them, So, it's just another medicine, and it's a good one, too. It's a natural medicine. It might be more of a medicine for the mind, but, mental health and physical health, are just as important as one another, and sometimes they go hand in hand. And a lot of people microdose. And they'll put in some lion's mane, which is not psychoactive, but does a lot for you. And I've tried microdosing myself, and I find that I every once in a while, Deb and I will do some mushrooms. I mean, why not? And I found that if we would do the mushrooms, guess what? My lower extremities, which are normally on fire, would turn into like a little warm kind of toasty feeling. So it actually affected that. So I thought, well, microdose, right? And while I had it and I could microdose, it actually did help me on an ongoing basis to reduce the amount of burning I felt, right? So I just can't get enough mushrooms into capsules long enough and often enough to keep it going. But I would keep microdosing, forever. And we're working on it. We're taking a little kit. So. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's so much going on the psilocybin end of things, and we have a mushy moment on the Reefer Reporters.
Oh, really? Cool.
And we have a mushroom story on there, and there's patients who are taking the federal government to court for access to it's Terry Parker.
Doesn't this all sound familiar?
Oh, it sure does. But this time at least it's not the patients completely by themselves.
Yes.
Because in this situation, the one company's Therasville is helping the patients along with this. So it's good to see that way. And we read stories about companies that are setting up to grow the mushrooms in order to supply these clinics and things that they sort of got going there, but aren't acting fast enough because there's like 1,000 patients that are waiting for approvals on access to psilocybin. So it's going through the whole scenario again. I thought that maybe the government might have tried to jump on top of it by having companies that are doing this, that are supplying these other places for the treatment clinics, but obviously it's not working. So it's going to get to that point. Patients growing again.
Yeah. Well, they're actually they just gave a special permit to I believe it's in British Columbia, a very large mushroom growing plant, which is actually growing psilocybin mushrooms on a experimental level, right? So they've been authorized by Health Canada to do research on psilocybin mushrooms, and have a huge grow facility, state of the art. Kind of reminds me of an LP, if I can use those two letters.
But it's patients should be looking for that. So it's good to see that BMA has got the growing kits and that are available for those people who choose that medicine to medicate with.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trying that.
Yeah, we carry spores. We're out of lion's mane right now, but we do carry quite a few different varieties of spores and tissue cultures of mushrooms, psilocybins, and we carry some culinary and just health mushrooms like reishi and wine caps and oysters and shiitake as well. So it's
that's interesting. Yeah.
So it's whole wellness. It's not just
it's not just psilocybin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's great. Well, yeah, because I'm sure people come in there that grow other things like besides cannabis, like lettuce, and I've got a friend that grows all her lettuce and stuff in the wintertime, and it's like a great big tall tube, and she puts all her vegetables in it, and it's got a light. She bought it online. It's got a bucket as the reservoir, and
the towers. We carry vegetable seeds too, organic, non-GMO vegetable seeds that are from that. But I'm also a director with the Garden Club and have been for a long time.
The Belleville Garden Club.
Yes, the Garden Club.
The old nanny club, right?
But
director at large.
Yeah.
Does what she wants.
Quite a few seminars for all of the garden clubs in the area on cannabis and how to use it. And things like that, and we are talking, about people who are anywhere from 50 on up, and it's been really well received, and it's surprising how many questions and how interested everybody is because they don't want to use, traditional medicines and things for ailments. So it's making it out into the mainstream, but we do work on a wellness, like almost a total wellness. It's not just cannabis driven. We have everything from microgreens to vegetables, and we can talk to everybody about that, like different pHs for vegetables versus cannabis and things like that. So it actually works out well, and people are starting to look at us as, oh, you're not just a hydro store, so you don't just know about cannabis. But 9 times out of 10, you'll talk to people about vegetable growing, and they'll say, and I am growing a couple little plants in my garden.
They test you. They come in they talk about it.
Interestingly enough, because hydroponics is indoor, right? So people want to grow vegetables all year round because, a lot of people want to be sustainable, and it doesn't take, some of these units don't take up much room. Where you can actually kind of keep yourself sustainable by, keeping microgreens in your house and keeping your basil growing or your your little herb garden going and growing it hydroponically, because then you're not having to, dirt, right? You need to have to fertilize, it's just a lot of mess, and with water, you're just kind of good to go. It just sits on your counter and off you go, right?
Yeah, that's right. It makes it very easy, and things grow quickly in water. In a vegetative state, they grow much quicker in water than they do in a soil. So you get to see results much faster. So it encourages people too, right? To grow that way.
I just think
the only thing you can't grow hydroponically is like root vegetables, but you can grow like cucumbers and peppers and lettuce and that kind of stuff, but you can't grow carrots because you just can't grow carrots.
If you put them in a tote with soilless mix on a drip system, yes, you could.
Oh, can you? Oh, well, there you go.
Radishes, you could grow even little potatoes and things. Yeah.
Oh, that's great to know. See, I didn't know that. Interesting.
I like that. And plant them in there. Yeah. Because
that's great to know.
Is still considered hydroponic because it doesn't really contain dirt, and you are in control of what food it gets.
Right, exactly, right?
That'd be
Well,
like
that's really
Protex,
interesting.
those kind of peat-based things.
Yeah.
Right.
So we did have customers who did grow carrots and potatoes and things like that in totes on drip systems in their basement under 1,000-watt metal halide lights, right?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we have
That's
people who
great.
grow strawberries indoors.
Yeah.
See, that's what I would like to like. I would do that in a heartbeat. Because I mean, I've got some, all year round. I'd love to have strawberries growing in my basement all year round.
Well, we didn't plant the strawberries around here until strawberry harvest season. So they went into the containers a little late, but we still got strawberries off of them. Here we were the middle of August or something. We pulled. Got five. Yeah, Gal says we got 5 strawberries.
I haven't gotten any.
Wow.
You know what? To be fair, I haven't gotten any this year because I didn't really get a chance. I mean, it's been so hot and we got water restrictions. Like, I haven't been able to anything, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, one thing that we haven't gotten to, as far as effects wise, you're selling you're selling your unit in the building, and the business. What effect will all this have on CTCP?
I think the clinic is there. Okay, the clinic is going to go on. Whether or not it is identified as the CTCP clinic or just the BMA Hydroponics clinic, it's going to be a clinic. It's still going to be there. I think any new owner would see that as something that's a good thing to do on the community level, to provide access to people to medical cannabis at a reasonable cost, because it involves nurse practitioners, it involves doctors, it involves professionals who make their living off of prescribing all kinds of medications, and some of them decide that cannabis is the one that they think is the best, the least harmful, and they believe in it. And so those medical professionals who are in a minority, they have to be accessed, and you can't just call them up and go there. So a clinic is the best way to go, and it is providing a community service, and it covers all of our expenses, and we even make a couple of bucks after it. I mean, we don't make huge profits off of it, but we even make a couple of bucks off of it for our trouble, and it's all good. Everybody loves it. They feel like it's very reasonable. I mean, you can get a 5 gram a day permit for $100, and that'll get you 25 plants, indoors.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
So, like for 100.
That's where a lot of people are at that plant number. That grammage at 5 grams. That was at one time. I know that was, that was like the average thing. But I know there's been some large gardens since then.
Yeah.
But no, that's good, because that's it'd be great if it would carry on, because there's so many patients, as you know, that were. For years, helping patients with their MMAR paperwork. It was, I would get called down to the Grindhouse Cafe. Al, can you come in here and help somebody with their paperwork? So there's there is people out there looking for them. So it was always good and always great to be able to direct people to a clinic. Once they started opening up, and they could get access, because even though I could help them with their paperwork and stuff like that, it's still the big stumbling block we ran into was getting a doctor's signature.
It is. Access is a big issue, and if we can provide that access, then we're going to.
Yes, and I mean, we have hopes that whoever takes over will continue to do it, because it's, when we will introduce them to our medical staff, the nurse practitioner, to everyone that we're involved with. That thing. So, but yeah, it's and there'll be training provided if people need training and things like that with with the business, the POS system, because it's a fully integrated, POS system now and everything too. So
yeah, there's going to be a learning curve for them, and we're going to
Yeah.
try to help them. And whoever the buyer is, we're going to try to help them through that learning curve. And part of that is going to be an emphasis on the clinic and on what it does and why it does it, and how in the end that benefits your business. Because when somebody gets a medical permit, the first thing they need are all the things they need to grow the cannabis they just permitted to grow.
Yeah.
And where do they get that?
Yeah. That's right.
So it's
and
a
the
win-win
education that comes
for
along
everybody.
with it too, right? Like that's the best part that goes with it, because it's not just the growing, it's the topical, it's all the other things that go with it.
Yes,
that's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And it's we kind of have a motto: if we don't think you're going to really need it right then we'll tell you you don't really need this right now. So if you don't want to have a major expenditure, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I can afford everything. You don't have to start out with everything. And we tell people that too. You don't have to come in and buy, like lights, filters, fans, all that to start with. You can work up to that. So we look at it that you're not afraid, and our motto is actually your success is our success. So we want you to succeed and be proud of what you have.
And we do things like create kits where you buy a tent package and you get a 4x4 tent and all the things you need to grow your cannabis in it, the light and the ventilation and the carbon filter, and you get it at a package price, which is discounted as a package, right? So there's a lot of incentive to buy a package and save some money and get something that's ready to go. Or what we say is ready to grow. Right?
Or other things, if you don't want to do it and start out that way, there's other ways you can do it, and we're happy to tell you how you can do it on a budget too, if you need to, and build up to what you need. So
there's got to be a lot of people that come in there for the first time and say, like, I've never grown tomatoes before, and this is my first time. How do I go about that?
Yes, that's right.
It is nice so that people can actually come in and say, hey, like, I want to grow 4 plants. What can you do to help? Right? Or say, hey, can I get a medical license? I hear you have a clinic. And it's not like they have to hide and worry about it anymore. So, as much as we, legalization, we all kind of went, meh. People are getting arrested, right? People aren't getting arrested, and there's that,
No, I mean, we have people come in and they'll say, yeah, well, my doctor's okay with it. And I'll say, here's the form to take to your doctor. Just make sure you get the original back. They can keep the copy and tell them not to initial right here. But you take this to them, bring it back to us. We'll photocopy everything for you. We'll give you the Health Canada application, and we'll go over it with you. And then we'll give you copies of it free. So you've got your own copies and tell you how to send it off and everything else.
And we make zero.
And we don't make anything off that. But it's just
how many people though have we done that for? Like, we can't even count anymore, right? All of us have done that for numerous, patients, and that's what it's been, because somebody did it for me, right? And that's how I thought about it. It was like somebody took the time to pick me up and drive me in a snowstorm to, see Dr. Cameron in Coe Hill, Ontario, in a bloody blizzard, right? And didn't charge me anything to do it. Kept me at her house, like was very kind to me. And I thought, never asked me for anything. And I said, well, that's what you do, right? And that's how I met everybody. So again, that's why you keep doing what you do, right? You just keep paying it forward, right?
And Dr. K was in our backyard. He was he was a friend of Bma Hydroponics, and he sent a lot of people to us. And when they got permitted, they would come to Bma Hydroponics to get outfitted to grow the cannabis that Dr. K authorized them to do. And it was just such a great time. It was like a new dawn, and everything was new and I mean, it was exciting, and I was Deb and I have been so proud to be a part of this entire thing. You know, we met. I'm just going to give you a brief outline of how we met. Deb and I met. I was 18. Deb was 15, and we were in high school in a little town called Port St. Joe, Florida. I came walking out into the smoking area, and there was this beautiful blonde that I'd never seen before, and I fell in love right there. And so did she. And you know, I asked her out, and the rest is kind of history. You know, so that was 1974. Okay, that's 47 years. Out of that 47 years, Deb and I have been working our asses off for 46 and a half of those 47 years, because the first 6 months was a transition moving from Florida back to Canada. So yeah, so now here we are 47 years later, 47 years of busting our asses. We had awesome careers in the packaging industry. Between Deb and I, we were the gurus of one of the largest packaging companies in Canada. Okay. And I ran structural design. Deb ran graphic design. We were the creative heart of this business. We succeeded. We made 6-figure salaries and had cars and all the perks and did all the travel, went everywhere. And we went, after about 25 years of doing this, we just kind of said, well, you had enough of that? Yeah, I've had enough of that. What do you want to do? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, hydroponic store. That's it. That's what we're going to do.
Hey, but that worked too, right? But that worked too.
Bonsai societies and stuff too. Yeah. So I thought, well, let's do something that's actually therapeutic and relaxing, right? That we can enjoy. Right.
But from that time, from that time in 1974, cannabis has been a part of our lives. Yeah. We have stayed with cannabis from that day, even under the conditions in Florida where it was so illegal. You could potentially just
go to jail for life.
Seriously, we got pulled over and strip searched more times than we can count. Okay, here in Canada, I have been when we lived in Scarborough, like before I even met Deb, we would get pulled over by cops in a parking lot in a plaza. They would strip search us, literally make us take our clothes off in the plaza right there in front of everybody while they searched through all of our socks and our shoes and all of this stuff, looking for that little nickel bag or whatever might be in there that they could get us for. That was horrible. Okay, that persecution was awful. Yeah. We stop us. We kept going. Okay, and look at us now. I mean, Jesus Murphy, you know, what did we have to do to get to where we are today? You know, what did we have to put up with? You know what, now I feel like we've won. You know what I mean? I feel like we've won, and now we can relax. We can finally take the load off. We can finally go and sit back, sit by the bay and smoke a J.
I know, but I still have to. You can put it at the end of your driveway on a table and say, cannabis for sale.
Yes.
If you want it grown organically in my garden. You know, that's what it should be. Right at the farm stand with your tomatoes and your peppers and everything, right?
Yeah, that's where I say that, you know, cannabis, yes, it's legalized, but there's still more work to be done on it, obviously.
There is.
But I also recognize, though, from, you know, being involved in this, you know, for as long as we have been, that over the years, it seems to be there's like a wave of advocates that come through. You know, they're getting a bunch of work done, and then as if, you know, people they settle into things that they do, and then another wave of advocates come through, and they start, you know, screaming for this and that and trying to, you know, to improve things, and then, you know, they sort of just do the same thing. They end up being find a happy spot, and then another wave has been coming through. You know, like at one time there was all the Terry Parkers and all the guys that went all over the court back in those early days. Whereas, you know, you don't hear from them about, you know, doing things, or, you know, like Diane, for example, she was always involved in things, always in the news in those early days. But, you know, she still does what she can do while she does something else. But, you know, there's always there's always another group of people that come in behind, and the crowd and the voice gets larger and larger.
That's right.
So yeah, people are in their retirement. You know, you can still do cannabis advocacy during retirement. It gives you more time. Just look at it that way. You got more time.
It does do that. So
I have time for everything, right?
You know what? Retirement is from work. Right. I don't consider advocacy as work.
No.
Okay? No. I consider that as a duty, as an honor, as a privilege, and an inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay, so that you don't retire from that.
No.
You know, you'll be standing in line in the grocery store, and then you'll hear something coming from behind you. Somebody will say something, and you'll turn around and say, "Hey, I can tell you all about that."
Yeah, that's right. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody, right?
That's right.
So,
yeah.
That's
hey,
right.
Well, I've got company sitting here, so I'm going to have to get off of here quickly.
All right.
Good to see you.
Great seeing you again, Tamara.
All right. Well,
thanks for coming on. And any shout outs for you guys? You gotta wrap them up and shout them out.
Yes. Shout outs in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout out to Dr. Ross. Guy. He's a customer of ours. Go to the YouTube channel and see Dr. Buck's farm. It's just awesome. And you know, Al was there. He was doing a live broadcast from Dr. Buck's farm. I was filming it for the YouTube channel. It was just awesome. Go there, check it out. It's an excellent.
It is. I was talking to Dr. Buck today, and we're going to go back and do an OTR next week.
Cool.
See how things are going.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well, we said we want to see them plants grow all the way through. So, and you're close, 10 minutes away.
That's right, just minutes
I
away.
like that. Yeah. Exactly. I can't grow my own right now, but I can still watch everybody else.
That's right.
Well, you can also get the benefits of having friends who grow.
Yeah.
And just so you know, Dr. Buck was watching. He's watched tonight's show.
Cool. Hey,
Scott.
Yeah.
How you doing, Scott?
And Sophie too.
Sophie, yeah, what a beautiful dog.
Yes, Sophie, exactly. All right. Other than that, that's it. Tamara, you got anything you need to say?
Nope. See you guys next week.
All right. See you next week. That information again, Bma Hydroponics is for sale. There's the contact information right there for anybody looking to buy an up and running business. Other than that, we'll see you all next week, as Tamara said, when we got our special guest that's going to appear. Other than that, you can find the Pace Radio Network. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're online, paceradio.net. And thanks to our sponsors, Bma Hydroponics. We've been talking about them tonight. Find them at bmahydroponics.com, legacy420.com, Dr. Buck, CTS.com, and the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Plus, thank you to our guests, Deb and Ross Middleton, owners of Bma, for coming on the show tonight and talking about the past and the future.
Well, thanks for having
us. Congratulations.
Yeah, as always, a pleasure to be here. Al, you guys are awesome. Keep up the good work.
Yes.
And a big thank you to our watchers for tuning into the program. Other than that, good night. We'll see you on the other side. I got to get the buttons set up here. Oh, wow. There we go. There we go. I got it now.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.